Breaking news: in a major escalation of the crisis in the Middle East, Iran has started a direct attack on Israel by launching dozens of drones to attack targets there. They're expected to reach Israel in the next couple of hours. Israel says its armed forces are on full alert with combat planes in the air. Iran has said it wants revenge.
On April 13th, Iran launched drones and missiles against Israel, as promised, in response to a deadly attack on its consulate in Damascus, Syria, that took place on the first day of April. This marked the first time in history when Iran has made a direct attack against Israel. Israel and Iran have been involved in a shadow war for several years now, attacking each other's assets while not taking responsibility. These attacks have increased significantly during the current conflict in Gaza, which was triggered by Hamas' assault on Israeli communities in October. This striking event brings up the following question: why did two former historical allies become enemies in what appears to be a regional conflict? Following the establishment of the State of Israel in May 1948, Israel and Iran developed a close relationship. Iran was the second Muslim-majority nation to acknowledge Israel as a sovereign state, after Turkey. Israel considered Iran to be a natural ally since it was a non-Arab power situated on the edge of the Arab world. Israel and Iran had a friendly period between 1950 and 1979, when under the Pahlavi regime, especially from the 1960s onwards, Israel and Iran enjoyed close ties, leading to an informal strategic alliance. Israel provided military and economic assistance to Iran, and the two countries developed trade relationships that continued to thrive until the Iranian Revolution in 1979. The Iranian Revolution marked the turning point for the Iran-Israel relations, as the new Islamic regime broke diplomatic relations and began to spread anti-Zionist and anti-Israeli propaganda. This paved the way for decades of enmity between the two countries. Under the Khomeini rule, Iran ceased to accept Israeli passports, and the holders of Iranian passports were banned from traveling to, as they used to call it, the occupied Palestine. The Israeli embassy in Tehran was closed and handed over to the Palestinian Liberation Organization. The new hostile rule over Iran's government didn't stop the trading between the two nations. During the Iran-Iraq War in 1981, Israel's Operation Seashell involved the sale of $75 million worth of arms to Iran from the Israel Military Industries, Israel Aircraft Industries, and Israel Defense Forces stockpiles. The arsenal included 150 M40 anti-tank guns, each with 24,000 shells, spare parts for tank and aircraft engines, and various types of shells and TOW missiles. Israeli sales included spare parts for US-made F-4 Phantom jets, and Ariel Sharon believed it was important to keep a small window open for the possibility of future good relations with Iran. But that window was soon closed by the new leader, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, that succeeded Khomeini after he died in 1989. In the year 2000, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei stated that Israel is a, quote, cancerous tumor that should be wiped from the map. In 2005, he mentioned that Palestine should be determined by its people since it belongs to the Palestinian people. During the same period, he also accused Israel of trying to destroy the Palestinians through continued pressure, blockades, and genocide. He also mentioned that the Jewish state will not succeed. Starting in 2010, a series of assassinations were carried out targeting Iranian nuclear scientists. It is widely believed that the assassinations were the work of Mossad, Israel's foreign intelligence service. According to Iran and global media sources, the methods used to kill the scientists were similar to the way Mossad had previously assassinated other targets. These assassinations were allegedly an attempt to prevent Iran's nuclear program from advancing, or to ensure that it could not recover following a strike on the Iranian nuclear facilities. The first attack happened on January 12, 2010, when a booby-trapped motorcycle parked near the car of a particle physicist named Masoud Ali Mohammadi exploded. 10 months later, in October 12, an explosion occurred at an IRGC base near the city of Khorramabad, killing 18 soldiers. Just a month later, on November 29, two senior Iranian nuclear scientists, Majid Shariari and Fereydon Abbasi, were targeted by hitmen on motorcycles who attached bombs to their cars and detonated them from a distance. Shariari was killed, while Abbasi was severely wounded. On July 23, 2011, Dariush Rezaeian was shot dead in the eastern Tehran. On January 11, 2012, Mostafa Ahmadi Roshan and his driver were killed by a bomb attached to their car from a motorcycle. This series of assassination was not Israel's only desperate attempt against Iran in order to stop it from developing nuclear weapons. For example, in 2010, the US and Israel allegedly developed Stuxnet, a sophisticated computer worm to target Iran's nuclear facilities. In February 2012, information revealed by WikiLeaks from the Stratfor email leak claimed that Israeli commandos, in collaboration with Kurdish fighters, destroyed Iranian underground facilities used for nuclear and defense research projects. Iran also carried out small attacks against Israel's state and people. On July 18, 2012, an explosion destroyed a bus carrying Israeli tourists in Bulgaria. The attack claimed the lives of 5 Israeli tourists and their driver, while 32 others were severely injured. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu accused Iran and Hezbollah of being responsible for the attack. In July of that year, a high-ranking Israeli defense official disclosed that over 20 planned terrorist attacks against Israeli targets around the world had been prevented since May 2011. These attacks were planned in countries such as South Africa, Azerbaijan, Turkey, Thailand, and Bulgaria. As a result, Iranian and Hezbollah operatives were detained in prisons worldwide. Hezbollah is a militant group and political party that emerged during the Lebanese civil war as a militia following the Israeli invasion of the country in 1982. It has been one of the most important political forces in Lebanon since the 2000s. Their leader, Syed Hassan Nasrallah, has said the group has 100,000 fighters, but this information is highly uncertain. The US Central Intelligence Agency's World Factbook says Hezbollah was estimated in 2022 to have 45,000 fighters, split between roughly 20,000 full-time and 25,000 reservists. Now, why did Iran attack Israel? Iran attacked Israel in order to flex its muscles and show Israel what would happen in case of similar attacks, like the one in Damascus that ended the life of senior Iranian commanders. The recent attack on the consulate is part of a consistent pattern of airstrikes that are commonly attributed to Israel targeting Iranian assets. In recent months, many senior IRGC commanders have been killed in airstrikes conducted in Syria. The IRGC has been using Syria as a transit route for weapons and equipment, including high-precision missiles that are being channeled to Hezbollah. Israel is attempting to halt these deliveries and prevent Iran from reinforcing its military presence in Syria, which is the most important of the allies that Iran has in the region. Benefiting from an alliance with Putin's Russia and having control over important regions in Iraq and Yemen, as well as militant groups in Palestine, Iran holds significant influence in the Middle East. However, influence is not enough to go full-out war against a country located 600 miles away, where multiple factors come to play. Iran's economy and military is not enough to crush Israel's in a direct confrontation. Even if Iran has 10 times the population of Israel, this does not make it a mightier power. Iran has made significant investments in missiles and drones, and as a result, it has accumulated a vast arsenal of its own. However, modern air defense systems and fighter jets are still lacking from Iran's military arsenal. It is believed that Russia is cooperating with Iran to enhance these capabilities in return for the military support that Tehran has provided to Moscow during its war with Ukraine. To this end, Iran has supplied Shahed attack drones to Russia, and there are reports that Russia is now seeking to manufacture these weapons itself. On the other hand, Israel's Air Force is one of the most advanced, with 14 squadrons of fighter jets, including F-15s, F-16s, and F-35s, as per the IISS Military Balance Report. Israel's defense budget is more than double that of Iran's. It has United States support and also nuclear capabilities left to interpretation. Israel would have more to benefit from a direct conflict with Iran. Its relationship with the USA would drastically improve because Americans have started to be more pro-Palestine in the last decade, and this war could generate support from a public that will start to favor the Israeli state. That's why politicians like Netanyahu have been thrilling on a retaliation against Iran just hours after the attack had been reported. But the US president insisted on matters of de-escalation and mentioned that the United States will not be dragged into any counterstrike against Iran. Iran simply escalated matters in order to de-escalate the situation and to discourage Israel from trying anything again, and also to calm the general public and political class. Iran made the attacks ineffective in order to avoid an intense response from Israel, hence the reason why most of the rockets fired were destroyed before reaching the Israel airspace, and the ones who did left no casualties and caused minimal damage. Zooming out reveals Iran's constrained position. Israel is poised to exploit this vulnerability, aiming to not only further embarrass Iran, but also to systematically weaken its proxies over time. All this being said, it explains why Netanyahu climbs the escalation ladder, while his biggest ally, the US, stays far away, strongly advising against it.